All right. What's up, guys? We're going to talk about the best chart patterns that I love to look for in the stock market, and the chart pattern basically that you guys need to learn. All right. It's called the plumber's pivot. I've written an article about it. We're going to go over what it is that we're looking at, where the different plumber pivots are in the market, and how they've played out. Okay. Apple, we look at this crazy move, right? And we talk about, the last chart, I had here for Apple in the Discord. Looking at this key level, targeting 196.65 up there. We came down, retested our initial breakout level, and look where we closed, guys. We closed almost exactly at the 212.85 price target to the upside. And yet again, that was another one of those plumbers pivots. Okay, so we're going to break down that pattern. Of course, we'll talk about TLT. But to me, TLT is a little sloppy, and the picture's been a lot clearer on the treasury yields, on the 10-year yields specifically. So we'll go over why it is you want to pay attention to those, the chart patterns that have been making really great money this year, and where we're seeing those chart patterns at currently in the market. So you guys have the potential to take action on some of these and look, within these different sectors of the market. Really great video I've got for you guys. And then there's one more thing, the EQRR. All right, I'll break down what this is. This is a hidden tool I use. This is kind of like my secret weapon. All right, and giving away the sauce for free here for you guys. All right, really good stuff. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. As always, though, the content provided on this channel is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended to be relied upon as legal, financial, or investment advice. So be sure to read through the disclaimer. And if you're new to the channel, I started a completely free newsletter for you guys, Investment Intelligence, giving out free valuable finance and trading content. I even try to sprinkle in some free trade ideas in there for you guys when I can. There's a website associated with it, so you guys can go back and check out some of the previous newsletters and articles that were written. Really good stuff on there, all completely for free. And if you want to, you can join the Investment Intelligence private trading group. There's a link in the description to join that Discord. Inside of there, I post about 20 plus swing trade ideas per week. All right. Custom scripts and indicators. There's exclusive intel such as dark pool data, gamma levels, unusual option activity, and exclusive chart layouts. So a great, amazing value inside of the Discord there. But let's get into it. And what we've got here is the ratio chart of tech versus the S&P. So we've got XLK divided by SPY. All right. XLK is your numerator here, guys. All right. I know a lot of people hated fractions in school. Time to get over that fear, okay? Start looking at some ratio charts. This is going to show you relative strength, relative performance. And what do we see, guys? We see the plumber's pivot. Now, you may be asking, right? Because maybe you've never heard of the plumber's pivot or you have no idea what I'm talking about. Plumber's pivot. We're in a bull market. This is a bull market chart pattern, okay? And that's the first thing, all right? Whether you're bearish, whether you're bullish, that should be determined, right, by your time horizon and also just the charts, right? Price is king, all right? And price pays, all right? Not your opinions. And we've been in a bull market, all right? There's no secret about it. In a bull market, you tend to see bearish setups fail, okay? And we're going to show you guys some charts, right? This one right here, a great example, the XLK divided by the SPY ratio chart. So, when this chart is going down, it means tech is really underperforming the stock market, right? And what do we see? Well, we see a top here, right? Some people will call this a head and shoulders, right? We've got left shoulder, head, maybe a right shoulder over here, looking for the flush to the downside, right? We've got support over here. We're looking for a flush to the downside. What happens? Well, exactly what happens in bull markets. You tend to see bearish patterns fail. And the reason the pattern is called the plumber's pivot is because here, bears and shorts, they are looking for a flush. Okay, they're looking for a flush. They're looking for tech to continue to underperform the stock market. They're looking for that flush. All right. These shorts, they got to make a phone call. Okay. Their broker is calling them, hey, margin call, or hey, your short position, you need to add money to this, you need to add funds, you need to add margin, or hey, you're getting stopped out of your position, do you want to add funds? They're making that call. Okay. We can call them the plumber. Okay, the brokers are the plumbers of the stock market. Okay, they're the ones making everything work behind the scenes, doing a lot of the dirty work. So the plumbers pivot right here, plumbers being called. All right, they're bears are looking for the flush. right? They get squeezed out of the market. And so what you have are you have bulls buying support, and then you've got shorts closing their short position, so buying to close, and you've got bulls buying to open, and it leads to a very fast move to the upside. Okay. False moves lead to fast moves in bull market and bear markets, right? It's a very good, very simple saying you guys need to learn and memorize. False moves lead to fast moves. Okay. And what do we have? We have a false move below support twice. It led to a very fast move to the upside because traders on the opposite side of the trade are getting squeezed out, right? Where are some current plumber pivots that you guys can potentially capitalize on? Well, look at the IGV. This is an ETF. Okay. So this is the tech software sector ETF. So what this means is that if you want to, you could look to potentially play the IGV ETF itself, or you can dial down your range of stocks from looking at 500 stocks in the S&P 500 or looking at, 3,000 stocks in the Russell 3000 or something like that. Now maybe you can narrow it down. Look at the IGV, look at stocks in the tech software sector. Okay, what do we see? We see the plumbers pivot here, right? We see a potential topping pattern here. The bears, they're looking for support to break here. They're looking to sell support and get that flush to the downside. And what do we see? We saw a very fast move to the upside above the all-time high anchored VWAP, right? So you drop a WAP on the all-time high for the IGV, and above there we're bullish. Okay, above there we're bullish, and we're looking for the breakout above $84 roughly. Above $84, we're going to break out past this trend line. We're going to be targeting 88.82, 96.68, and 109.40. Okay, so again, you guys can look to play some ETFs here. You guys can look to play some individual names. And respect your stop, right? Below a VWAP, all right, below an anchored VWAP, that bears are in control, and you're typically not looking for long positions or looking to be as aggressive with long positions. And above an anchored VWAP, it means that the average buyer is now in control. The average buyer is, green on the position. All right. And bulls are in control. And so you can use that a little bit as a trailing stop loss. Right. Where else do we see the plumbers pivot? Well, we see it in the FDN. All right. This is your internet index fund. So internet stocks. Okay. These are two sectors, right? Software, internet funds, internet stocks. These are areas where you can look at the market, right? You can click on these ETFs, see some of their holdings, and maybe there's some stocks with some nice individual stock setups, or you can, again, look to maybe play some of these ETFs. Just depends on what kind of liquidity you're looking for and whether or not you're looking for, high volume traded options and different things like that. So yeah, I mean, again, we're seeing a topping pattern form here. A lot of bulls are going to say that, hey, we've got a rounded top forming here. But again, we see time after time in a bull market, the plumbers pivot strike again and again. And that's what we're seeing here, right? And, again, this gets above those highs, anchored VWAP. We're going to be looking for a breakout above 201, targeting 208 up here. All right. And that is in the FDN. Now, Apple is where we've seen this plumber's pivot strike here recently. Okay, so look, here's the top, right? Here's that flush of support, right? We had support over here. We dipped down below it, right? And look at what we saw, an extremely fast move to the upside. Now, Apple is, Apple, okay? It's not going to behave like every other stock in the stock market, but these are the patterns you want to be buying. These are the patterns you want to recognize. Okay, I want to be buying stocks that have this pattern because this pattern has been working the entire year. This is a bull market pattern and we're in a bull market. So again, look for these things, right? Start looking for some plumbers pivots. Start looking, whenever you see a chart and you're like, oh, this is a clear double top. This is a clear head and shoulders. Believe it or not, in bull markets, those are charts that you may potentially want to be buying, right? Now, of course, you've got to manage your risk. But we see time and time again that these charts work and these charts reward those who can withstand the volatility. All right, so let's get into what y'all are all here for. TLT, okay? TLT, guys. I mean, looking great. Okay, to me, looking great. I don't think now is the time where you want to go all in, long or short. Have a little bit of patience here. Okay. I had some positions in TLT, some option trades up magnificently, right? Those are looking really, really good. We saw a little bit of that plumber's pivot Let me just kind of draw that for you guys really quickly, so you guys can kind of see what I mean. But it was on a smaller time frame, where we had an established area of support here, right? We had the high. We see that plumbers pivot where bears are looking for the flush to the downside to the prior lows. They get squeezed out, led to a very fast move to the upside. Call options went up hundreds of percent on TLT within a very short amount of time. And ultimately, longer term, above 92.39, bullish. Okay. Just keep it that simple. And I think that this is, a very simple concept and trade to look at right now. I love it when the Fibonacci's align with an anchored VWAP. So if you go to the low, to the bear market lows of TLT, right, and you slap it and you drop a WAP there, what do we see? We see that anchored VWAP lining up with the 38.2% Fibonacci. Above here, I want to be long TLT. Okay. It's, that is just that simple. Below there, I don't want to mess with it, right? I want to see the average buyer in control. I want to see us above that first Fibonacci level and ultimately heading up towards the next Fibonacci level at 95.52. So above 92.39, targeting 95.52, above there, targeting the previous highs of 157, right? Again, TLT is not as clear, not as super clean, right? If we were to come in here and draw a trend line real quick, you can see what exactly I mean by that, right? If you draw a trend line here, you see it breaks above, breaks below, now back above. No, not the cleanest, but we are forming a base. We're forming a base and we are trading above a key level here, right? This level was resistance here. It was support here. Then it was resistance here again, was resistance here again. And now the question is what's going to happen here, right? I already told you guys my thesis above 92.39. You can look to be long in this name. TNX paints a much clearer picture, right? And we've got some very simple Elliott wave analysis. Had this Elliott wave analysis on TLT or on the bonds and on treasury yields for a while, and it really just helps weed out some of the noise when you can understand the structures that you're looking for. Markets tend to move in a 3-wave, all right, or a 5-wave structure. A 5-wave structure is your overall trend and impulsive move, and then a 3-wave structure is going to be your correction. We're in the middle of a larger wave 4, okay, which comes in the form of an ABC typically, all right, a 3-wave correction, an ABC, right? We had the wave 1 down, this is your wave A, and then wave B up, okay, and wave C should come in the form of a 5-wave structure that takes us down here for wave 4, all right? And so what do we see, guys? We see we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. We got an ABC up, right? That's our A down, B up, and we're looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, taking TNX anywhere from 3.78 down to about 3.5 on the 10-year treasury yield, maybe even potentially 3.25, okay? I'm not going to predict exactly where it's going to go, but those are your 3 target areas. And things look good, right? I was telling people not to panic when we got this sharp move up in the yield here. We're looking for some confirmation that we're going to move down lower. You can see exactly where we found support at our key Fibonacci level here. Not really much of a coincidence there. But what I really like is back here when we formed a bullish chart pattern, we also had a bullish wave count for the TNX, and we saw that we got that, right? We broke through that neckline of the cup and handle, right? Because here's the cup and handle right here. We broke through this neckline, came up here for our wave B target highs, and look at exactly where we found resistance and closed at our key level 4.702 up here, right? And now we got a wave 1 down, wave B up, right? And we formed an inverse cup and handle, right? And this is your neckline right here, right? Inverse cup and handle. And if this thing continues to fire off, right, we're going to see the 10-year yield head down to 4.032, right? Basically 4%. We're going to see it move and gravitate towards wave to about 4%. That's going to continue to push TLT higher. That's going to be a tailwind for TLT. Wave 3s are your strongest and most impulsive wave, all right? So, typically in the market, you want to look for, 1, 2 setups, right? If you can find an A up, B down, then you can catch that C wave, right? Or maybe you find a 1, 2 down, and then you catch that 3 wave, right? And then you get 4 and 5. Wave 3 typically is your strongest wave where a lot of the juice is, right? And if we're in wave 3 down, that means yields are going to continue to drop, all right? And bonds are going to continue to go higher. And if we're in wave three, then should be one of the strongest and more longer waves in this wave count. And so that just kind of yields a more bullish environment for TLT, and that we should see and continue to see a strong move in TLT back up to those two price targets that we've got to the upside on TLT, potentially even higher, right? We'll just have to watch and determine, see where things really go. The thing I think you want to pay attention to right now is the EQRR. This was something that really helped me out a lot in getting some good shorts on TLT. When we're expecting this larger move up right here in the TLT and charting this cup and handle, we're also seeing the EQRR setting up this huge multi-year base right here, looking to break out and hit its Fibonacci target. And sure enough, it did. It went almost in a straight line directly up, while yields were continuing to go higher, and we saw TLT drop. And look at what this is doing. This is on the verge of rolling over. Now, I know we talked about bearish patterns tending to fail in bull markets, right? What this is the EQRR is an equities for rising rates ETF, okay? Meaning that this ETF is constructed to go higher when the market thinks that we're going to see higher for longer rates, and when we're going to see a rising interest rate, rising treasury yield environment. And, it was pricing that in. We were pricing that in earlier this year. But since then, the market has stopped doing that. And we're not necessarily looking to trade the EQRR, but use this as a signal potentially. And if this can break through its lows and come back down to some of its previous highs, that's going to be another tailwind for the TLT to potentially continue a rally to the upside. So watch your 10-year treasury yield. Watch the EQRR. I think those are going to be some things that will help paint a little bit of a clearer picture and make things a little bit easier for you to feel more confidence in your moves and plays on TLT. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to join the Investment Intelligence Private Trading Group. You can get the link to the Discord in the description down below. In there, I'll be posting around 20 plus swing trade ideas every week, custom scripts and indicators, exclusive intel. There's also exclusive chart layouts for you guys. All of that's included, and we've got much, much more coming over the next month or two. Yeah, if you don't want to pay for anything, you can sign up for the Discord or for the newsletter. The newsletter is completely free. There's a website, so you don't even have to sign up. You can just go check out the website, right, and read the new posts on there. But if it's something you want emailed directly to your inbox, you can sign up for that using the link in the description as well. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one.